Good evening or morning or whatever time of the day it happens to be. Welcome one, welcome all. Come on into the Writer's Block podcast. That's it, right? We're back on the air, guys. For a special little bonus episode this week because I'm supposed to be taking some R&R and some TLC, but the reality of the situation is I can't say no to a good conversation with just a lovely individual. Such is the case of today's interview. I am I haven't done this in probably at this point like maybe a month, and I feel so rusty. I forgot podcast, how to podcast words. This week, guys, we are talking with Gabrielle Wanek about the latest entry in her series, A Song of Ash and Dawn, book 2, out now wherever you get your books. It's a little shorter conversation today. We had a little bit tighter of a window than I normally get for these press junkets. Uh, I greatly misremembered, misscheduled my own time. But we got through it in the end. We had a lovely conversation diving all into the books, Gabriella's plans for this 10-book urban fantasy series that she's building, the jigsaw puzzle-like process of creating her main characters. I learned that there's such a thing as a continuity editor, which is really cool, and just so much more. We had such a lovely conversation for only a small little window. So please give it support the book. Check out the books. Go check out Song of Ash and Dawn. I don't feel like I remember how to podcast. How do I podcast? Guys, we are still on break. We'll be on our hiatus probably until September, but if you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on with Writer's Block, any news, any developments we might have, fun clips, I promise the clips are coming back to socials. I promise. But if you want to keep up to date with everything that's happening with Writer's Block Podcast, please follow us over on social media. We are at Writer's Block Pod on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your podcasting platform of choice. Helps us kind of figure out the direction that we're going with the show. Or if it's compliments, because we got a few of those, and I like compliments because I have very low self-esteem. It's off the rails today. I lock in, Greg. Lock in. Rein it in. And if you want to get involved with season 3 of the podcast, if you're a writer, you know a writer, you just want to talk about books, I don't even really know where to go. We're always looking for people to have good conversations with, have a fun time with. So please send an email to writersblockpod@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love to set something up to talk about your project. All right, guys, without further ado, let's dive into today's conversation with Gabrielle Wanek. So, Gabrielle, nobody accomplishes anything alone. Before we dive into talking about all the books, can you tell us about the contributions that your writing assistant Cairo has made to this wonderful world that you've built? And has he been a good influence on the latest addition to the team?
She,
Excuse me.
um, she was there for everything before we even started drafting, before we even started writing. Great assistant, making me get up, go outside, do things besides just sitting in the dark of a cave.
You have very adorable pups.
Yep.
I've loved kind of in the research getting to watch them all run around and having just the greatest time helping promote promote the book.
They're good at promoting. They are adorable. They know exactly what they're doing.
Ooh, a dog. Click. The first book, Songs of Ash and Dawn, was in development for 5 years. Was there a specific reason for that particular length of development time? Was it because you're doing so many books? Was it just figuring out the map of the whole series? Were you looking for just the right bits to fall into place? Did you do the thing that I did one time and delete my entire draft and then need just extended break from it? Oh, really?
That was one of the things. I ended up redrafting it about 5 separate times. At least once a year, I would redraft because it was originally a male orientated story, and then it was male female, and then it was back to male male. And then I'm like, okay, we're gonna do male female. And it didn't work. I'm like, what if I do two females? Because that changes the entire dynamic of it. And it's like, because it's entirely different characters.
For those who don't know, can you give us an elevator pitch for Songs of Ash and Dawn, just the whole series?
It's a fantasy fiction series. There are two female leads, Aiden and Cora, and basically it's them in this magical world where mythology has in the today's present, with all people being hybrids and stuff like that. And they're learning their magic, they're learning their place, and they're trying to figure it out as they go out into this world and learning how dark it actually is.
So the first book comes out and it is beloved by your readers. What was your reaction to the success and learning that your publisher had to start a second printing because of the overwhelming response?
Surprise. My whole thing was I was doing this for, I want people to read it. I want people to love the story. I want people to enjoy it. But that's not the reason I published. I published to get the story out of my head. And I thought, someone's going to love this book. Even if five people read it, someone's going to be in love with this story.
The series, I think, does such a good job blending just the ordinary Midwestern experience with like the ancient hidden magics and that
Mhm.
really diving into that genre. What inspired you, I guess, initially then to bring the two worlds together? And how does book two expand the mythology that you started with novel one?
So I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in a itty bitty farming town and surrounded by cornfields and woods. I wanted to capture that because I remember growing up and running through the woods, running through the forests and the fields during the day. The second the dark came, it was dark. There was no lights, and it was just pitch black, and you got the moon. It's the capture of everything that I grew up with.
Readers really connected with Aiden and Cora in the first book. Without giving away any major spoilers, what new challenges and growth can fans expect for them in book two?
Aiden is starting her job and her career, and she's moving into outside of the first book, which most of the first book was inside of a property. But she's finally going out into the city and starting to explore and starting to do her career. And Cora is just kind of like, I don't know. Do we go this way? Do we go that way? Where do I exactly fit in the world now?
What draws you to telling stories from the perspectives of these two compelling female characters? Now we talked about kind of you having to play with gender a little bit while you were doing the writing process, but what do you hope readers take away from these two characters?
Just, I think finding yourself is always such a major part of characters and finding where you belong in the world and things like that.
Mhm.
And it's like seeing them uncover this magical world that they're in and being able to go with them along the way.
And throughout the series, throughout the first these first two books, many of your characters are forced to choose between who they are and who they're expected to become.
Yes.
Is identity one of the central themes you set out to explore initially, or did it emerge naturally as the story evolved?
It was not originally the plan. The plan was originally a lot smaller. Identity became so important because, again, I started writing this in the middle of COVID. And so it also became important to me as I was writing these characters because you're in the middle of COVID. I think I saw people a total of 5 times for the first 6 months.
Every fantasy world has rules that readers don't always see on the page. Are there aspects of your world's history, the magic system, or the lore that you've developed that haven't had the chance to reveal themselves yet?
I have a file in my documents that's just literally called lore, and it's about 30 documents of different factions, different species, the magic system, the lore, how we got to this point, what happened with this, what happened with that. But it's like it's all categorized, and so there's a lot there, and it's been up in the air if I would do spin-offs of the series as well, because then I can go back into the past and show how things happened.
Yeah, just weave this large tapestry for your audience.
Which is probably what's going to happen. I get the feeling.
Yeah, yeah, you never know. With a lot of fantasy, obviously there's a lot of these the magical systems, and then you have your protagonists that feel like they have the maybe the infinite plot armor or characters that kind of get carried along. How did you approach balancing magic with meaningful consequences in Songs of Ash and Dawn?
They still get hurt. They still, I mean, in book one specifically, I think there's a whole chapter with just where she's just teleporting around the entire chapter and falling into things, and because she doesn't know how to control her magic. It's like in teleporting on a roof or teleporting into a car or into, I have one, I think it's a wedding, but it's like that's a consequence because she doesn't know what she's doing.
That's impressive, and I can't imagine the existential crisis that comes with that.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was very fun to write. That was my favorite chapter to write. It was just chaotic.
Mhm. When you sit down to write, who do you picture your ideal reader is? And has your sense of your audience evolved since publishing the first book?
I feel like it's anybody that would like fantasy or stories. I mean, like Game of Thrones is always a big one that always comes up. But it's like fantasy fiction, people that love the woods, people that love magic and mythology and lore. It's anyone who's also just likes action, because I love writing action, which I've been told to not write so much action.
Let things breathe.
They're like, okay, you need to calm down.
So you have planned this series to be a 10 book fantasy epic.
Yes.
I am notorious for having a goal in mind, and I just want to skip to the good part. I want to get to the ending as soon as possible. How do you keep yourself in check and pace yourself when it comes to future proofing or even foreshadowing just these future plot points or these future entries?
We have a very rough outline of the entire series, and that is also why I have a developmental editor, because she will go through and be like, "What happened to this thing? Why is it, where did it go?" And I'm like, "Oh no." Like she read one a couple weeks ago and she's like, "They were holding a pot. Where did the pot go? There was a pot? Was there a pot?" Go back and there's a pot at the beginning of the chapter. Pot just vanishes.
That sounds incredibly helpful to have someone like that on the on your team.
It's very helpful.
What has surprised you most about the process of building such a large interconnected story? What have you learned like along the way about I guess making this kind of a roadmap for all 10 of these books?
Don't get too hung up on details. It's like the pot thing's a funny thing, but it's like honestly, most of them are we start at point A, we have to get to point B. There's a few major incidents throughout throughout the book.
Mhm.
Everything else is up in the air.
Are you more of a planned out person, or are you obviously with 10 books, but for those smaller details, are you more like here's the beat of everything that's going to happen in every single chapter, or are you more of a discovery writer with some of those moments where it's like I know where it's going, I know what this and this and this have to be. How do I
Mhm.
get through these to these plot beats?
Yes. I'm very much the person that's wee way over there. Way over there. What are you doing over there? Like my editor, she loves me, I think. I'm like, I think she loves me, but I'm also like, she's like, why are you way over there on that page when we're way back here? You need to calm down.
It's good to have
But
those people that keep you leveled.
thank
But thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. Where can people
you.
go to find more from you and to find all the cool stuff you're working on?
Songsofashanddawn.com. You can also get the first three chapters of book one and two for free. And you can go, there's all our retail stuff on there. And for this month, we have, for the release of book two, a 99-cent Kindle version, if you would like that.
Thank you for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank you for hosting.